Okay, so everyone can hear me? Good, we're good? Okay, so we're gonna do a pelvic, low back, tennis ball, foam roller release and mobility today. We're gonna actually start off with the same foot roller, ball as last time. And then we're gonna do one more little foot exercise, and then we're gonna work our way up to the pelvis and the low back. So I'm just gonna aim you guys at my feet, and we're gonna start with the ball. Okay, we're gonna start with the ball on your foot. So under your foot. So we're gonna try to do 1 minute on either, or on each feet, on each foot. You wanna just try and find those spots that feel tight and sore, just like last week. You can roll from side to side, forward and backward, putting as much weight as you can tolerate on that one foot. And again, the foot connection is same thing as the neck from last week. There's connections through the low back, and the foot and the hip and the back communicate a ton. So just kind of waking up the foot a little. You can curl your toes over the ball and then try to splay your toes. Yep. And then curl and splay, or you can just kind of roll slowly up and down. And then I'm going to face sideways for this one. So you want to try to keep your heel on the floor, and you're going to just step forward. The step forward is going to differ between everyone, depending on how tight your calves feel today. So if you are feeling super flexible, you can step forward more. If not, you can step closer to your other foot. And then same sort of thing, you just want to try and keep your heel on the floor and curl your toes over the ball and then splay them. So you're really trying to keep your back knee straight as possible to get a maximum kind of stretch in your calf. And then we'll switch feet. So your one foot should feel a little bit kind of more open and looser after that. And then same thing, find the tight spots on your other foot. Yep. Nice and slow, a little slower, Leanne. Try and see if you can go slower and then put a little more body weight. Just so you're really honing in on all those deep foot muscles. Yeah. You can even find the spot that feels the worst and then see if you can lift your heel up and maybe go on your toes on the other foot. Almost like a little balance exercise, but putting a lot more body weight. And then you can curl and splay. Curl and splay. Okay. And then getting into the calf a little bit, so keep your back heel down, back knee straight, and then step forward a little bit. And then you can rock from side to side a little bit, or you can just kind of lean forward wherever you feel the most stretch in the foot and the calf. Good. Okay, so you can shake your toes out. We're gonna do one little toe exercise. So I'll get you to look down at your toes. Have just a slight bend in your knee, just a soft bend, not a squat or anything. And what you're gonna do is just try to lift up just your big toes. So big toes only on both feet at the same time. And then back down. So we're gonna try to do 3 of each. Okay, so we're gonna lift just big toes again. So you're pushing your little toes into the floor, lifting the big toes, and back down, and one more. So pay attention to see If one is a little bit more of a challenge, you can practice that afterwards and back down, okay? And then you're gonna keep your big toes down and lift your little toes up and back down. And little toes only, keep those big toes pushed into the mat and down. And one more, lift up and down. Good, so now we're gonna lift all the toes, keeping the balls of your toes on the floor, so you're not lifting up like that, you're just lifting your toes. And then we're gonna just lower the big toe. So keep all the little toes up, lower the big toe, and then bring it back up. And lower the big toes, and back up. And again, big toes, and back up. Nice, okay. And last one is keeping the big toes up, lowering the little toes. And up, and little toes, and up, little toes, and up. Awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna bring you back up here and we're gonna grab your lacrosse ball and your foam rollers and the wall. So we're gonna first work on hip flexor. So to find the hip flexor muscle, it is, if you find your pelvic bone, so the bony part of your pelvic bone is right here. And then if you just kind of take your hand and scoop right inside of that bony prominence on the front of the hip, that's where you want to put the lacrosse ball. So the hip flexor attaches in your low back and your spine down onto the front of the hip. So this is just one area of the hip flexor that you can target. There's other areas, but with the lacrosse ball, we're going to get right deep into the front of the pelvis. So you're going to put your ball on your hip first, and then we'll place the roller after. So you're going to be against the wall. You're going to place the ball in that spot. The leg that the ball is on is going to go behind, so you're kind of in a split stance position. And then you're going to put the ball on that. Okay, so once you've set that up, then you're going to lean the ball into the roller, into the wall. Okay, so it's like that. You can see. Okay, so just, there's not much room to kind of move around, so you're just kind of finding one spot, and we're just going to press and hold this one. So what you want to do is first just take a couple breaths in and out when you feel the spot. And then if possible, we're going to see if you can reach that arm on the same side that you have the ball straight up to the ceiling. So you don't want to lean too far back that your hip flexor starts to turn on. You still want it to be relaxed, but when you raise your arm up, you're stretching out the front of the abdominal muscles, that front of the hip flexor there. If that's too much, then you can keep your arm back down. If you want, you can put the other arm just to support a little on the wall if you have a short roller. If not, you can kind of widen your legs a little bit if you're losing balance. But we'll just hold up here for 3 deep breaths. In through your nose, right into the ball, and then out through your mouth. And see if you can reach to the ceiling a little bit more each breath. It's a pretty achy spot typically. And I want you to try and pay attention to what this side feels like compared to when you do your other side. Last breath. And then take it off. So once you relieve the ball, you should feel kind of like looser, more open on that side. And then we'll do the other side. Okay, so find that same spot on your opposite side. Get in position first. I'm doing my right side now, so my right leg is going to go behind. And I'm going to find that spot and just lean straight into the wall. Again, you can support with the other hand. You can go like if you want a deeper stretch, you can bring that back leg a little further back and then reach your arm, your right arm, if you're doing your right side, up into the air. Okay, so a couple deep breaths. In through your nose, out through your mouth, reaching a little higher as you breathe out. One more breath. Good. Okay. So now we're going to get right into the low back. We're going to do a lacrosse ball release to your QL. So your QL stands for quadratus lumborum. It's basically this angled muscle that attaches in your low back from your ribs right onto your pelvic bone. So you're gonna, to find it, we're gonna just use your fingers first. So your thumb is gonna go right at the bottom of the ribs. So just find where the last kind of bony part of the ribs that you feel with your thumb. And then if you slide your hand down about 2 inches, you'll hit the top of the pelvic bone. So that muscle is in between those two bony areas, and it's a deep low back muscle. So it's beneath the big back extensor. So we want to get at it from an angle. So you're going to place the ball in that spot. Make sure it's that squishy spot and that you're not on the bone. And then you're going to lean into the wall. So you kind of have to be a little bit of an angle when you get to it. And your weight distribution on your feet is actually important when you're doing this. So I'm doing my right side, so my majority of my weight is going to be on the left foot. About 5% of my weight is on my right. So my foot's on the floor, but I'm not actually pushing into the floor. If you push with that same side, you'll feel that muscle tense up a little bit and you won't get it as relaxed as it could be. So again, this one, you can roll around a little bit more with this one versus the hip flexor. So you can kind of explore a little bit and see where you feel the tight spots. And this one is also attached on the ribs. So breathing is really important with this one. So find a spot that feels yucky, tight, sore, stiff. And then see if you can take a couple of deep breaths in and really try to bring your breath down into where the ball is. So try not to have your air just in your upper chest. Like really try to almost feel the muscles moving under the ball. So this is usually a pretty nasty spot for a lot of people. The QL is a back stabilizer, and it also bends us from side to side. Okay. One last breath. Try to make your exhale about 6 seconds long. So nice and slow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. If you didn't get 6, we can try 6 on the next side. Okay, so we're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. So I'm just going to angle here. Okay, so find that spot with your thumb and then the ball. And then you're going to angle yourself. Okay. So again, take a second to pay attention if this is tighter or looser, or more sore or less sore than the other side. All about exploring your muscle imbalances. Figure out what's going on with your whole picture. And again, if you're on your left side, you want majority of your weight on your right foot. And then the left is just kind of lightly touching the floor. And you're going in at an angle, so I'm not directly facing my back against the wall. I'm tilted at like a 45-degree angle to get into the deeper part of the back. It's common also to feel a little bit of referral with this one because that muscle attaches to multiple segments of the low back. Sometimes people feel this referring down into your SI or your glute. So it's okay that it refers. It just means you hit a good spot, and just maybe hold on to that spot for a sec and breathe until it kind of comes back up and it's just under where the ball is. Thanks. Awesome. Okay, so we're gonna pop our lacrosse balls down, and then we're just gonna do a hip and upper back mobility exercise at the same time. So whatever roller you have, we're gonna put it on the floor. I'm just gonna angle this like this. Okay, so first thing is you're gonna be out with one leg to the side. Okay, my toes in the back are in a push-up position, so my balls of my toes are touching the floor, and this knee is straight. So whatever leg you have out to the side, that's going to be as straight as you can, and try to keep it there. So you should feel a stretch in your groin area. Okay, the roller is going to be on this side. Okay, so I'll show you like this. So right hand is going to be beside the roller. My left hand is in between my arm and my leg on the roller. Okay? So this is the starting position. Okay? So we're going to breathe in, and as you breathe out, you're going to roll your arm on the ball, and then breathe back in on the way up. Okay? So it's okay for your right arm to bend a little as you go, just to get a bit more of the upper back stretch. And then back up. So I know I look kind of twisted like a pretzel right now. Everyone's got it okay? So breathing in at the top, and as you twist, you're breathing out. If this is too much on the leg that's out, if it hurts your knee or if it's too big of a stretch, you can just come into all fours like this, and you can do the exact same thing. It just gives a bit of an added stretch for your hip if you want. Okay, so just do a couple more. I'm just gonna watch here. Good. So Leanne, put your arm underneath. So bring your right arm more forward. Yep, and then now put your left arm in between. Yep, there you go. Yep. And breathe out as you rotate. Yep. So depending on how tight you are, like you might feel this in your groin more, or you might feel it on your upper back, or nothing. I feel it in both. So try to look for your hand as you're rolling, just so your head and your neck is also turning. Yep. And we'll do one or two more, and then we'll switch sides. Good. Okay, so now other leg out, knee straight. Thanks, Sue. Okay. Good. And so my left hand is down and my right hand is going in between. And I'm dropping my right shoulder as I roll and breathe out. Yep, so you can let your left elbow bend to get deeper into that movement. So Sue, you can let your arm bend, yep, and drop your shoulder more. Your right shoulder, yep, there you go. Yep, awesome, Leanne. Nice and slow, we'll do 3 more. If you feel a pretty good stretch at the end of the motion, you can just hang out there for a sec and just take a deep breath. Good. Okay, so that was awesome. Hope everyone felt a nice stretch in their upper backs and their hips with that one. So the next one is going to come up back up to the low back again. So we're going to be just against the wall. So we're kind of going back to that QL muscle a little bit. What you're going to do is, it's called a side glide. So you're going to start with your arm bent on the wall, just below 90 degrees. So not above your shoulder height, just below it. And then you're going to walk your feet out a little bit so you're on an angle. Okay, so it's kind of like a side plank position. So what you're going to do with your opposite hand, so this is my left hand, I'm just going to put it in that same small of my back as like how we found the muscle. It's kind of the same position. And you want to do just a little core brace, so nothing crazy, maybe like 40–50%. And your feet are together. And what you're doing is you're just using your hand, you're guiding your hip towards the wall. Okay? And then when we come back out of it, you're using your other hand to push yourself back into the starting position. Okay? So a little brace, using your left hand to guide your hips towards the wall. So you should feel a stretch on the side towards the wall. If you feel a pinching on the other side, then don't go as far. So only go as far as you feel comfortable, because what we're doing is we're loading the left side as you do this motion. Okay, you'll feel a stretch on the right, but we're actually loading the joints on the left side. So just go to wherever your body will let you go, and make sure that you're straight and that you're not leaning, I'm exaggerating, but not leaning like that, and not leaning like twisting forward or twisting back. So you can kind of look down and just make sure that your hips are square and that you're not like twisted. Okay? So we'll do 4 more, nice and slow. So you can breathe out as you go towards the wall, and then breathe back in as you come to neutral. 2 more. And 1 more. Nice. Okay, we'll flip around to the other side. So I'll show you from this angle. Okay. So I'm just below shoulder height and just above my pelvic bone. Breathing out as I tilt and back. So you're using your core and your arm to push yourself back into neutral. And again, if this side feels pinchy, don't go as far. You can just go take a step closer to the wall, and you won't be going as deep. Good. Do you more? Yep. So this one is more about the repeated movement than it is an actual stretch, because we're loading the right side of the low back. We're not purposely trying to hold a stretch for the left side. So, but you'll definitely feel a stretch. Good. Okay. So, I have one activation. I know we're past time. I know we started a little bit late, but I have one activation exercise if you guys wanted to do it. It's just for your whole core, your core and your obliques. Thumbs up if you want me to show you. Okay, so it's down on the mat. I'll show you the actual movement and then I'll explain it really quick. Okay, so you're on your back. One arm is up, other leg, same arm is up, and then you're pushing into this hand. The straight leg is up. You're gonna tuck your chin, look for your armpit, and you're gonna roll on your side. And then you're gonna look towards the left, and you're gonna roll back. So the whole time my leg is lifted off the ground. If that's too much on your low back, then you can just lift the other leg up and roll like this. Okay? Or you can just keep that leg down and roll over. Okay? Okay, so starting, we'll go right arm up, right knee up. Yeah. And then brace your core, lift the straight leg, just hovering off the floor. And you're constantly going to be pushing your knee and hand into each other. Okay, so the constant pressure the entire time. And then you're going to take a breath in and you're going to look towards your armpit, tuck your chin, lift your head, and roll to your side. Yep, good, nice. Okay, so on the way back, you're going to turn your head first and keep pushing into your hand and then roll back to your back. Good. We'll do it again. So tuck your chin, lift your head, big breath out. The breath out really helps turning smoothly. And then turn your head, and then the rest follows. Good. Push into your knee. Good. Yeah. Lift your leg up. Tuck your chin, lift your head, roll. Nice. And back. Good. So we'll do two more. Again, if this is too hard if it hurts your low back or if it's straining it, then you can just keep your leg flat on the floor. Good. Make sure you turn your head first and then roll back. Good. Push your knee into your thigh. Good. All right. Okay. So now we'll switch sides. So left knee up, left arm, right arm is on your left knee. Good. Okay, so you're gonna breathe in, tuck your chin, lift your head, lift your foot, and roll. Good. So you're really trying not to push off your arm that's above your head as you're rolling back and forth, especially when you're returning. You want to try and use your core and your hip flexors as much as possible to control that movement. Good. So just make sure when you're coming back that your head is the first thing that turns. So head first, good. Yeah. So Leanne, try to turn your head directly to the right before you turn. Yeah, so that's perfect there. Keep your chin tucked. Yep. There you go. Good. Okay, one more. Nice. I know this one can be hard, but again, try to pay attention to see which side feels a little bit harder to do, and then you can work on that. Okay. So that's all that I had today. I know I went a little bit over. I hope you guys liked it. Still muted.
That was good. Thank you.